host, Chad the Maverick, and I want to thank you for joining me here for this full moon in Gemini breakdown. Now, I know before I was saying that I wasn't going to go live, but I've just been feeling the time constraint. Yeah, I realized that the moon just went into Gemini. Oh. So hopefully this is working. I should have popped back on. Please let me know if I am back on, because I knew something like this was going to happen to begin with these retrogrades, which is originally why I wasn't going to start going live during this time frame. I knew this was going to happen, but that's okay. If I'm back on, please let me know. But aside from that, we're going to be breaking down all this information today. I'm going to actually just bring you over real quick. So if you do not know, just to give y'all some context, here's my website. I was originally planning on changing this entire thing. However, I just did not have the time towards the end of the season and with my birthday and all that, which we'll get into in just a bit, to fully flesh it out. But I did do this today for y'all. So this right here, this is going to be the Gemini full moon reading. So I will be giving that over to y'all yonder, just so you have it. And that's what's going to be coming up for today. So if anybody wants to get a live reading today, I'm actually going to be pulling them while I am live, which I haven't done for a hot minute. But I figured that was the best way to do it. Sometimes there will be a mini reading that comes through and it slips my mind because of the business of my day, etc. But I wanted to make sure that this was available, sent out, and my original readings that I typically do, they are going to be at 150 for the rest of, until I feel like it's not, pretty much, right? But now that we got some of the new stuff out the way, let's start to really dive into what this full moon in Gemini is about. Originally, I wrote an entire script. I was going to make it really fancy. If you haven't checked out my last YouTube video for Mars retrograde, you definitely should. But one of the main things that I do want to get across with this full moon is that this is a full moon that's kind of bent off of confusion. This full moon in Gemini has a lot to do with overthinking. It has a lot to do with you revisiting certain mindsets, especially because we're doing this in the middle of Mercury retrograde as this is going. So to give you context, technically, the full moon is going to be happening on the 15th, right? However, we're going to be feeling its effects throughout this weekend if you're not already feeling the effects now, considering the moon has gone into Gemini, right? Now, sound messed up on your end. Let me know if the sound is still acting up. I can't tell from here. It sounds good from where I'm at, but if there's anything else is messed up, please let me know. So let's start to really tap into this full moon now that I'm done with the initial jitters of this all, right? So the Gemini full moon is really trying to have you open up your mind to the parts of things that you haven't been looking at, right? One of the things that ends up really going on with that is our perceptions are starting to change. The way we see the view of the world is starting to change. The way that we've been treating one another in the world is starting to change. And so when we get into these different variations and these different levels of change, it's hard for us to hold on to what's the status quo. There isn't one right now. That's the weirdest part. The weirdest part is that for the first time in a long time, there isn't a status quo. A lot of the things that people used to like think of in like shock and horror, some people are celebrating now. I'm gonna give you the illest and quickest example of it. If I say the word in the name Luigi, you should probably know who I'm talking about. And if you don't know who I'm talking about, look him up, because you'll be so surprised at like how many people in general are being so supportive for this person with what they did because of the fact that they were an attractive person doing it. I need to point that out, right? I need to point out the reason why I was able to happen that way is because it was an attractive man who looked of a lighter skin than I do. And people have been flooding the internet and flooding the interwaves, like praising this person, right? However, if you look at what they did in just a on paper situation, you're like, this is a bad and terrible thing to do. When you get the whole general gist of it and the whole story comes through and you hear different aspects of people's story and you see, oh, this person was living with some pain. Oh, this person's mother went through something. Now the story changed. As a matter of fact, you got the information that made you change your mind. You got the information to see the duality of, although that might have been wrong, like X, Y, and Z. That's the full moon in Gemini, right? Like, in general, just to give you this concept, if let's put it like this, because I've seen this before. I'm not saying this is right. I'm not saying this is wrong, but I want to point this out in terms of this Gemini full moon energetic, so you can kind of get the point, right? So I've seen in my world, right, people be in situations to where, let's say, I'm gonna use a lovely lady. Let's say a lovely lady that I've known as I was growing up and stuff, right? She was done and fed up with the man that she was dealing with. And then she wanted to go talk to some other guys or talk to another person, so to speak, right? Even if they're still with their man, in general, most ladies at the time for when I was growing up were clapping them on like, yes, this, that, and a third. Meanwhile, it's like, aren't you still with that person? Now, granted, on the other side of this, if a man were to do the same thing, think about how fast of a problem that does become, right? Not just on a personal level, on a collective level. There's a lot of things that we tend to like either excuse or we let go of once we get either more context, or we either see the person who's interacting with that thing to begin with. That's usually how that ends up going, right? Now, with this full moon in Gemini, this is about the truth of the matter. This is about the duality that, like, there's no heroes and there's no true villains. Everybody's somewhere in between, right? Everyone has their ups, their downs, their light and darkness. Now, granted, there's some terrible people in this world, and granted, there are some beings of absolute light in this world. And guess what? Most of us are somewhere in between. But this full moon in Gemini has to look at the full scope of how all of that interacts, right? I grew up in, I don't want to just be like I grew up in the hood, because like that's not exactly true, but I grew up like it is, but it's like not like the level wise, it's hard to speak on. But the way I came up, right, there were a bunch of people having to do what they had to do to either get by, to survive, to keep things moving. And that's just what that was, right? Now, when I hear people in those circumstances and in those events and certain things happen, in the back of my mind, I'd be like, no crap, of course. What do you mean? Like, yes, people needed stuff. They had to do things for it. Yeah, that's how that goes. But if I heard the same thing happening in a very affluent area with a bunch of people that like didn't have to deal with the same circumstances, I'd be like, that's terrible. That's wrong. Why is this all going on, right? I want you to notice that on this full moon in Gemini, who is it in your world that you make excuses for? But not only who do you make excuses for, who do you make excuses for continuously? Now, listen, I'm saying this because I feel like we can do a world of good and giving excuses for other people. But when we give ourselves the permission slip to step into our power, that's suddenly when we lose it. And so I wanted to kind of like point this out as like a major theme, that like there are good things and bad things that just pull through. But Gemini is like, yo, bro, both of those things are happening, because as much as you might be like, oh, I'm the hero in this situation, I just did X, Y, and Z, to somebody else, you become their villain, right? Oh, I'm the antagonist, I'm the protagonist of the situation. Meanwhile, you might be the jerk the entire time and you just didn't know, right? The other side to this, you know what I'm saying, is that like, let's just say, in this circumstance, right? In this particular circumstance, someone is looking at you. Actually, I have a really good example, actually. When I think about duality for real, I always think about the dichotomy that Batman and Joker as two characters are essentially the same. Now, I know you might be thinking, what are you saying? Listen, the Batman and Joker are the absolute same brand of crazy. However, their end goal is very different. Whereas Batman, Bruce Wayne, or whoever he wants to call himself today, he's rich enough for that. If Batman wants to pick up and don the cloak and become fear and horror and terror and like really like throw hands on the streets with anybody, most people are like, oh, he's here to save the day. No, he's being whatever. Like, now, granted, this is a menacing. Batman's my size, right? So imagine Batman being my size, but like fully just decked out in a cowl and just like hiding and being a master martial artist in the night. Terrifying thought process. Now on the flip end, we have the Joker. The Joker is supposed to be a clown. Joker's supposed to be funny. It's supposed to be haha, goofy, funny. Like it's supposed to be like this whole, you know, the comical side of things, so to speak, the nonsensical, the like, this is hilarious, we're having a great time. Meanwhile, he's the one who's like really bringing in chaos. So Batman and Joker are on two different lines of order and chaos, but for different reasons, right? Because like when we get into the scope of this duality, at the end of the day, there are two men in this situation who love to kick a. I forgot to put the monetization stuff on, but still, these are two men who like to essentially kick ass whenever they can. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, the main thing that sets them apart is the morality part, right? However, if we look at it again, side by side, they are both technically doing and setting up the same things. As a matter of fact, there's a huge debate, at least in the dork community, that we've gone through every once in a while, to where it's like, hey, if the Joker doesn't exist, does Batman continue on? And the answer is probably not, because they are two sides of the same coin. In order for them to keep going and like go do that whole back and forth thing, arch rival thing, like they kind of needed the duality of the other. One is extreme order, the other is extreme chaos. So them having to go back and forth between both of those notions, while one's also trying to fight for justice, looking like an evil being, where the other one is fighting for chaos and evil, but he looks like he's supposed to make you laugh. This is the dichotomy that's coming in with this full moon in Gemini, right? One thing I do want to point out for this full moon in Gemini, to be honest, this is going to be a really integral part to a lot of the streamers, the podcast hosts, everybody else who really does communication as their former or their main line of work. The tables are about to shift on that a little bit, right? I think part of why I even was like, hey, I'm not going to do live streams initially was like one of those situations to where I felt this shift coming on. I do indeed feel the shift in between. And even in my own personal world, I've been just wanting to just do readings and consultation, right? Because meeting with people is my favorite part of my job, so to speak, right? Like, just to be honest, like the favorite part of the job is when I get to like sit there, pick your chart apart and like read for people, right? Speaking of, let me just start to hop on over into the astrology so we can start to look at this full moon in Gemini just a little bit more. But for those of y'all who do not know, and to give you some context, right? I do also have my newsletter. So if you never sign up for my newsletter, what are you doing? But I can say is that I just put this out literally moments before I went live. So if you want to go, ooh, over 1,000 subscribers, sign me up. But yeah, so this is pretty much a quick rundown, I would say, of this full moon in Gemini with the subsidiary here for anything that goes on. Plus, this is also open. So for anybody who is here and live, if you have any questions about how this full moon in Gemini is going, feel free to ask me in that process. But let's dig into what we're really here for, which is the full moon in Gemini. So pretty much this full moon, and I'm gonna dial this in to be a little more specific, right? This full moon is happening at what time exactly? At about 2:30 in the morning on the 15th, right? Now, the other side to this is that as we start to really engage with this full moon portion, let me click on this real quick. I want to give y'all the exact. Oh no, it's happening at like 1 in the morning. I apologize. But the main thing that I want to point out about this moon and the way this is going is it's actually the squared over to Neptune, right? Now this moon to Neptune square is going to be where, in my personal opinion, the true confusion happens. The reason why this confusion is going on is because I feel like Neptune is setting up a lot of people to see what their success is going to look like. Mind you, Neptune is going to show you what your success is going to look like. Neptune is going to show you what you want love to look like. Neptune is going to literally reveal to you all of the pieces to the puzzle that you've been working on. But here's the kicker. It's not going to solidify itself yet. Why isn't it solidifying itself yet? Because you need to release the fear of saying what it is that's on your heart. You need to release the fear of knowing that the words that you say still carry a type of duality. You get what I'm saying? Like the words, you can't, despite how well-intended you are with the amount that information comes out like in this world today, it is very difficult to keep your head on 100% straight. Just because there's so much information, there's so many new words, there's so much new this, no that, new blah, 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 all of that. How do we get back to ourselves? How do we take the communication of the outer world that we're so obsessed with, and how do we actually communicate within ourselves, right? How do we accept our own dualities? How do we have that Batman and Joker moment within and see what's going on? How do we talk to both angel and devil on our shoulders and figure out a compromise and do whatever we find is best right in between? That's, ladies and gentlemen, days, gaze, and all those in between. That's the real change when it comes to this full moon in Gemini, right? So not only are we releasing the fear, let me hop back in. Not only are we releasing the fear behind, like, how do I say this? We're releasing the fear behind the big picture, but as we release that fear, we're going to be really drawn to this more isolation related kind of feeling. And I think what this is really trying to show you is that, like, sometimes in this life, you got to kind of go off on your own, right? There's something with this full moon in Gemini where I feel a lot of people are about to start heading off in a direction that maybe they were waiting for the right people to come behind them to support it, right? I feel like a lot of people are in this situation where they were like waiting for their friend to show up, or they're waiting for their partner to give them the kudos, or they're waiting for a parent or whoever that they have around them in their lives to like fuel them in love. I think a lot of people have been sitting there kind of waiting like, yo, like, what's the next thing? Full moon in Gemini is like, yo, that stuff starts with you. And the reason why it's not happening is because you're not actually speaking on what it is that you want. You're not actually speaking on what it is that you desire. You're not saying the thing out loud enough for someone to hear. You get what I'm saying? And I think even for this title, I think at least put in the newsletter, I was like, this is the 2-step of duality. You know what I'm saying? Because like, in all accounts, and if you are just a person on this planet, you have been someone's greatest hero and someone's worst villain just by existing, just by you being here, right? You have been at both sides of said spectrum. But the full moon in Gemini is trying to be like, how do you respect both? How do you know when to be kind to people? How do you know when it's time to be an ass to somebody? Because I'm not a love and light astrologer. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend I'm a love and light astrologer. I have been through too much life to sit here and pretend to be a love and light astrologer. Do I support the love and light wave? Of course, but that's because I do the shadow work that's required. Like, that's not something that a lot of people are drawn to doing. It's not cute. It's not pretty. It's not fun. But it really does start to bring out this other side of things, right? I think part of the reason why people do relate to my work is because I have done both and I continue to do both. You know what I'm saying? Part of why I wasn't going live for a bit because I was going through my shadow phase. I was like, your boy going through it. I don't even have the wherewithal to pop up and try to tell y'all how to live y'all lives as I'm still navigating these moments, right? But here's the thing with the Gemini full moon. You don't know until you say it, right? You don't know until you write it down. I just got a notebook for the first time in a few years, and it's been really helpful. Why? Because the words that you write down by hand are the words that you remember most in your mind. You get what I'm saying? The words that you write down and you mean and say and affirm are the ones that typically stay with you for a longer part of time. I actually, in the newsletter this time, I left a few affirmations that I just, quickly came up with. Just wanted to put together just to see and get y'all a gist into what this is all gonna look like, right? I was gonna show you, but I realized I think I put it down. Oh wait, no, I got it. Okay, so the affirmations that I did have for this, right? The one thing that I put, and the one I like the most, I create my reality with clarity, intention, and authenticity. right? Clarity, intention, and authenticity. And if there's nothing else that you could take from this full moon in Gemini, it's about finding your clarity, your intention, and authenticity. Because I feel like the problem with this jabbermouth society, the problem with everything having a podcast, the problem with too much information is that we don't get to soak up what's important, right? We don't get to soak up what's important. We don't get to soak up like what's really like given to us. And I'm part of the problem. I'll be yapping. I'll be sending the information out too. However, the conversation that occurs is like, what are you putting out to the world? You get what I'm saying? Like, what are you putting out to the world? Is there something that has like a deeper message to it? Is it something that doesn't have that deep of a message? Are you trying to be out here promoting BS and hate? Like you gotta really like sit there. Can I repeat? I don't know exactly what I said, but thankfully this is what the live streams are for. And if I did a video, I would know exactly what I said, because then I would just be like, oh, it's right here in the script, but we riffing. But what I can say, genuinely though, is that to kind of give you at least another reference or another take on what I just said, is that with all the information that we get on a day-to-day, the communication to self and the duality of self becomes even more important. And here's the thing. Talk about it. I refuse. No play. All right, let's get into it. Let's dig into it. Let me sit back for a bit. You know what I'm saying? But here's really the in-between parts of this. Let's use a more modern example, right? The celebrity industry right now, word, from what I just heard, there was a new person who was pointed out in a long list of BS. And unfortunately, that man was Jay-Z, aka Hove. It's so bad. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, just look up his name. It's been so bad that Beyonce has been going by her last name again in all of the recent headlines and articles and everything else, right? Do you remember how she just dropped Cowboy Carter? No, not right now. Now, the only reason why I'm bringing this up is because it's like, we are upset by this because it's a terrible thing to happen. What I realize when it comes to like at least music and listening to like certain people's songs, I'm like, there's no point ever once did this person say they were a good person or a role model or did anything good ever, right? It's just so crazy to me to see where it's like, especially in the world that we live in now, and so many people getting called out for like actual terrible things, the discourse that runs through the minds of people, the discourse between like, oh no, like I can't accept, I love this artist, I can't accept that. What? like this is how am I gonna put this, yo? I know this is a way bigger thing. This is why I was trying to do the videos for a hot second, just so I could like really put and piece these things together. But the main thing that I really want to get across is that it's like people aren't always what they perceive, but they're always what they tell you they are. And pay attention to what people tell you they are. Like, it's important. Even if it's an insecurity bit, it's important. Like, pay attention to what people are saying to you. Because a lot of people that I talk to, let's say they meet a guy, he comes in, and you all know what a man might say? Hey, yo, I'm not ready for a relationship. And every single problem that goes on with the person that's trying to get with them is that they're like, oh, I keep trying to get them into a relationship. It's like, you didn't believe what they said. They said they were not ready for a relationship. So then they're not ready. Right? Let's take another example. Okay. I personally can't speak to everything. Maybe you've had a luckier experience with this, right? Personally, in my world, right? I've had a lot of framing, timing, my fault. Retrogrades are retrograding. Brain is braining. Okay. especially early on in my life, I've seen a lot of racism. Let me just be frankly, right? I've seen a lot of racism. I'm originally from the East Coast and the Northeast, right? I've seen a lot of racism in my life. You know what I'm saying? Whatever last outskirts of a lot of stuff that was going on at the time, I've seen firsthand experience. You know, it's taken me about 30 years of my life to even grow my hair out type racist, right? Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up in this dichotomy is because there have been so many people in my world to like make false promises. You get what I'm saying? Like they're making false promises. They're like, hey, we're going to get you in this good scenario. Hey, we're going to help you with this other thing. And like on baby, no one's ever done nothing for real, right? I think like one of the things that I think is so interesting is that like to be caught up in, if I was caught up in the lies of what everyone told me that they would do for me, I would be nowhere. And I think it's within talking to that internal part of self where it's like, oh my God, like here's this thing on the silver platter. And meanwhile, you're like, oh boy, I'm gonna put everything over to the side. Meanwhile, that little voice in you's like, yo, don't trust that. Don't trust that. Don't trust that. You know what I'm saying? These are the inner dialogues. And you might be like, yo, you're just being pessimistic. And that the other side of you might be like, this is a situation. Like this is a scenario. One of the mainest things about this whole full moon in Gemini is you got to lean on like what you feel and what you say. Because I've heard so many people again be like, oh, we'll get you this job opportunity as soon as you graduate. They never had a job opportunity for me. Hey, well, if you step into this thing, we'll give you a call back afterward and make sure that you're good. They never gave me a call back after that thing. Like, you are going to be promised things. People are going to tell you whatever you want to hear. But there's a difference between you hearing people and you feeling what people say. And this full moon in Gemini is going to really try to show you that feeling what people say means twice the amount of anything that anybody could tell you. That's all I can say. That's what I got to say there. Ah, man, it's been a minute. Hello, live stream. I hope everyone's doing well. Appreciate y'all for who did just pop up. We got about 60 views in this so far. Appreciate y'all. Thank you for pulling up. I wasn't expecting to go live today, but I was like, I gotta get y'all the info, and I'm not going to sit here on my hands about it. But yeah. So Brown Sugar said, what are people truly upset about though? The incident or their image and the perception of the accused? Ooh, Brown Sugar, you brought up a really great point. Let's dig into that for a second, all right? Let's dig into that for a second. Those scenarios really trigger me as well. I'm going to get to brown sugars in a second, but I want to point it out. If what I'm saying doesn't trigger you, there's a bigger problem at hand. If what I'm saying doesn't make you like, oh, I've been in that scenario. Oh, I have been hit with the okie doke. Then like, I don't know what else to tell you. This full moon in Gemini is trying to show you the difference, right? Who's really for you? Who say they for you because it looks good on paper? You get what I'm saying? That's the real part. That's the real part. You know what I'm saying? Also, shout out to the birthday love. Appreciate you. I know someone said that earlier. I've been in the midst. My birthday was a few days back. I had a great time. It was good. You boys coming back, feeling lively. A little skinnier, a little more muscly. You know, we out here. So, what I can say, right? Someone said, what are they truly upset about, though? You want to know what people are actually upset about? If I'm being so honest with you. People are just upset that their relationship to the status quo wasn't true. People are upset to what they deem to be reality wasn't universal. Because if you watch, like, if I go up on TikTok right now and I search up a certain character's name from a Mario game, you think that character from the game is going to pop up? Or is it going to be the crazy homeboy who was pretty and spazzed out for whatever proper reason he felt that was? Like, who's going to pop up? Right? Because the status quo is everything that person did was wrong. Right? The image. The image, though, right, is that you see this person getting praise. Ladies all over the world. There has been an increase. I need to point this out, y'all. There has been the craziest increase of how do I send a letter to someone who is locked up. That's what's happened. Meanwhile, the news is like, we are shocked at all of this. And me, a modern man in the 21st century, is like, yeah, they're going to eat this up. They love this. Right? The reason why I'm pointing out these scenarios is because if this same example happened 40 years ago, there would be no discourse. It would be up. There would be no discourse. There would be no back and forth. There would be, is this wrong or right? It would all just be like a spat. You know what I'm saying? Tab said they got to get out of the Peter Pan never ever land before they get smacked with reality. But the reality is we all don't really know for real. I think the most profound part of me growing up or becoming an adult as it is thus far is that I realized to myself, as soon as I grew up, I realized nobody knew what they were doing the entire time. Like nobody actually knew what they were doing. Nobody actually knew what was going on. Everyone that was like, I need an adult, needed an adult. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like they needed like someone else or something else. And like, what I think is so special about the time frame that we live in is that we get so many opinions, but we also forget to form our own. So what's your opinion on that thing, right? Are you willing to talk about that? Are you willing to put that off? Maybe you're not willing to talk about your opinion, but are you willing to have that interesting conversation open up? That's the difference. So are they upset about the perception? Yes. They're upset about the perception. And if the perception is incorrect, then screw them. You get what I'm saying? Like if anyone's pointing out anything that's wrong about something and it's not truthful, then screw them. And now someone's bringing something up and that is truthful, then screw them. Now, if there's a bunch of people that's the other thing. Hawk Tua girl. There we go. The Hawk Tua girl. Prime example, Full Moon and Gemini. Okay. So if you are unaware, there is a blonde lady running around amidst of the internet because she said Hawk Tua in an interview question, right? Referring to, as the people say nowadays, fellatio. But the whole portion of her fame is that viral moment happened. She got famous. She said, screw everybody. She's been doing her own thing. She got a podcast, talk show, and that's being paid for and everything. And that's just what she's been doing. You get what I'm saying? What's good, Soulful? That's what she's been doing. But the thing with the Hawk Tua situation that happened is that she ended up creating a crypto coin. Now, granted, I'm not your crypto bro. You're not going to ask me about crypto, and I'm not going to tell you anything important. I picked the stars. That's my complication. I'm not going to be the crypto guy. But what I can say, though, is that, like, she ended up, I think it's called rugging technically, where basically everyone put their money in, and as soon as the money got put in, the millions of dollars that people paid for this coin got put in, her and her people took all the money out. And then they kept lying about it. But thankfully, we have the real truth checkers of the world. And they're like, this is where the money went. This is how many people you screwed over. These are the millions that happened. This is all this other stuff. And you want to know the best part? When they asked her to talk about it, when they were like, hey, now that we've gotten all this information, real stuff out the way, what's up with you? And she was like, well, I'm sorry to cut you off, but thank you. And I'm tired and I'm going to bed. Have a good night, guys. You just took millions of dollars from people. All right, have a good night, everybody. What? I say all this to really point out again the duality of this full moon in Gemini is for you to see when it's time for you to talk that ish, and when it's time for you to disengage. Like, straight up. Like, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes, as Kendrick said, sometimes you gotta pop out and show neighbors. And sometimes neighbors gotta know their own name. You know what I'm saying? Some people really get off on your reaction in the moment and tell you that they're going to do something beneficial for you. They get more from that moment than the actual follow through. Yeah, that's a part that's interesting. Glad I'm feeling better than the previous stream during Halloween. I was feeling awful, bro. I was also sick, I think, at that time. It's been a interesting last few months type deal. In general, you know, your boy be existing. I be living real life too. You know what I'm saying? Uh, but I be spitting these astro facts. All this said, let's do one more circle round for the full moon. I'm gonna pull the cards. If anyone signed up for it, I didn't check yet, but we do have the card pull readings that are open today as well. They are for this live stream. So if you are aiming to get something done, I know I've been trying to send them out to people, but I know my faults. I have ADHD. I be staring at stuff for long enough and I'm like, I just don't know. Like, you get what I'm saying? So like, I think it's gonna be better if I do them live for that. I was thinking for a long time whether to do classes or this. And here's the thing. Overthinking is a theme for this full moon in Gemini. And I almost want to tell y'all the part of the, sorry if I keep bumping this, but the part of the overthinking that's so important is so you actually like exhaust every option. Like, one of the things about this full moon in Gemini, especially if you are in a back and forth, you are like, oh, I want to do whatever, you have to exhaust every option. Like, we are so curious as human beings that you just have to exhaust the options. You have to go through and be like, man, that's not it, right? A lot of people don't find their partner because they're not willing to have the options. They're not willing to be like, all right, here we are, back to the streets. Let's see what happens. They're like, no, I need to find Mr. Perfect now or Miss Perfect now. It's usually not how that happens, right? Yeah, I'm just pure yapping at this point, but that's fine. The whole thing I do want to at least leave us off on, right, before I do get into the next part, is that if you're torn between two paths, let the right path open up for you. Let it open up for you. And you're going to have to take some duality of the other path, bring your own little spin on it in a new craft, right? Like, there's no stopping this cosmic flow of things, but you have to also point out, now mind you, this is the last 2 days of Mercury retrograde that we're experiencing right now. This is the last 2 days of Mercury retrograde. Full moon in Gemini has its energy with Mercury. So this is all of Mercury retrograde's fears, if you're doing this properly, being released. So when we get into this next part, you at least have clarity of knowledge. And the only thing that has to change after that is with this Mars retrograde. And that's how you physically go about it, is how you actively use that energy. But the mindsets that's been changing, that's about to start to stick in. You don't have all the answers yet. That's okay. But just keep your mind involved. Keep your mind open. Keep your eyes open for what you see as well. I honor the duality within me and my complexities. Do you? You should. Okay. All right. So now that we've done all this, I hope you all have been having a good time. For anybody who does, again, want to get a little bit personal, you want to get a little deeper bit of a reading, you want to get this full moon in Gemini reading explained. Okay. Look at that. Boom. For anybody who does want to, put it up right now. One more time. It's $25. Look at this picture of me. I look great. Let me stop. Also, as a stupidly sidebar, if you're watching this currently or afterward or anything in between, your opinion on this will genuinely help. Or I just want to see, right? I really want to see, what is it about my channel or the work that I've put out, or even if it's a reading specifically, what have you resonated to the most? Because I'm so used to being this like conduit of like info, and I'm such a nerd at like so many technical aspects, and just like, oh, putting a light here will be better for my fit, like, you know, stupid stuff like that. I really just get like lost in the sauce of like, why do people even watch me sometimes? Right? So if at some point you got to leave a comment or something that I could kind of like go off of, because I am starting to plan more work for 2025. Have y'all liked the videos I've done? Or are you just really here for the live streams? Like, I know I be yapping proper, but that's cool. I've been trying to make sure my vocal chain right. You know, we do a bunch of stuff around here. But yeah, I don't know. Just let me know. Whether right now or on your own accord, that'd be really helpful. I need to find my deck. Here we go. So let's start to get into some readings real quick. I'm gonna do the I'm gonna go by element. I'm gonna have, I think what I'm gonna start doing, because I also have the newsletter I've been running. So on a newsletter, I've been pointing out more of how each sign gets impacted as well. If you haven't been signed up to my newsletter before, just to let y'all know that it's under the stars we wander. You'll be seeing much more with that soon. And actually towards the tail end underneath here, this is where we get into all of those in between. So we're actually going to start off with Aries, and then I'm going to keep it going from there, just to keep this as simple as possible. So I'm just going to go all the way through. We're going to start off at Aries for this full moon. I said I was going to do an element, but we're just going to start off at Aries and keep going. Appreciate y'all for being here. Much love to y'all. For anybody who's mad nosy, the tarot readings start now. Let's get it. Love your readings because of your directness with a good dapper of goofiness and a dash of shade. You already know the vibes. You have to, hey, like, that's how it goes. I think it's like, it just helps people like really cement that. So I do appreciate when y'all let me just like point out my own personality in these readings as well. Speaking of, we just had a card hop out. And what's that card? This is for the collective. This is the Hermit card. This full moon in Gemini is going to be really introspective. It is 444 when I'm reading this right now. This is also the Ace of Swords on the bottom. So here's what I'm getting from this, right? When you, as a collective, right, we all need to take our time. From now until 2025, we all need to honestly like take our time. Take your time. Think about it. Stew upon it, right? Because the Ace of Swords is coming up. Like, your ideas are pulling through, but this is kind of like the waiting frame before we end up leading into that future. So if you're like, oh man, everything's on hold. Yes, it is. Now what? Are you going to keep pushing it, or do you just wait? I think if we all saw the tracking, like the tracking number in order confirmation, you get what I'm saying? Like, you know, when you get the thing and it's like, I was gonna be here like next week, and oh, sorry, shipping was weird, and you're kind of like, that sucks, but at least I see where it's going. That's how our intentions work. The only problem is when we keep clicking on when's the thing getting here, it just keeps getting delayed even further. It just keeps getting delayed even further. It's like, oh no. But yeah. Brown Sugar said, for me, it's because of your authenticity. When you speak on, it's relatable and it flows, it doesn't seem forced. This is all off top of my head. 100%. 100%. Every live stream you've ever seen me do, I have notes that I put to the side. I don't go off of them. No, like, this is all, it's all top of the head. So I appreciate it. I'm glad that the non-force flow seems non-force, because it is non-force, but it's a lot of time and effort put into figuring out how to entertain, read stuff, and also pull stuff for people's souls. It's been an interesting dichotomy, but I appreciate y'all. I'm entering my 6th year of doing this professionally, which is amazing. It's incredible. I've had a lot of ups and downs, but like, just to see, like, dang, it's been the 6th year. That's crazy. Oh, that's wild. Started watching because you met my dad. That's crazy. That's real though. Met my dad. He's mad proud of my work. Continue to grow. That's dope. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it took a long time for my family to start rocking out. You know what I'm saying? My evolving wellness. You just got here. What you missed? You missed about 40 minutes of me yapping. You know, this is my yap in between. Then I'm getting into the cards after this. If you want a mini reading right now while I'm live within the next probably 30 minutes or 45 minutes, definitely tap into that. I think they're 25. Want to make it affordable so more people can grab them if they want to. Yeah, but I appreciate y'all so much. I just get very, as I'm as creative as I am, and as handsome and thoughtful as I can be, I do sometimes just be like, it's me versus the entire world, and it's really not. Like it is, but it's not. You know, so so I appreciate each and every one of y'all for always like keeping my head on my shoulders and just being real. You know what I'm saying? It's so cool to be like, oh shoot, this is what I do for a living. People ask me all the time, oh, what do you do? I'm an astrologer. They're like, that's weird. I'm like, is it that weird? And they're like, what's my sign? I'm like, not for free. And then they're like, oh. Anyway, I'll drop more stuff. All right, this is the last everybody card, and I'm gonna actually start pulling for everybody. So we also have the walking away card and the full card. So there's a lot of like, okay, the full and this full moon in Gemini, I love that because like we still don't know what Pluto and Aquarius looks like. Like we just stepped into it, but Pluto and Aquarius, we don't know what it fully looks like yet. We've only seen glimpses of it. Everything I've mentioned to you thus far in this Pluto and Aquarius is a glimpse. It's a glimpse. You know what I'm saying? The master classes and live streams are your favorite. Resonate so much with different parts of yourself more, and you learn more about the parts of yourself in your chart. Your approach to astrology, your logic, and explains everything. Thank you. I am doing one more master class before the year is up. I haven't announced it yet, but maybe I did. I don't know. It's Jupiter Masterclass. I'll be doing that one for free. And I think I'll be charging for the Saturn Masterclass moving forward in January. So that's going to be where I start to like bring back the paid classes. But the paid classes are cool because I get to go even harder. I think right now I am still putting on a show for any person who comes to visit. But then in my classes, I'm going to be like on it. So appreciate y'all. All right. Thank you for the kind words. I'm going to start pulling now, actually, this time. So if you are here at 47 minutes, this is where I start to actually cook. So let's get to the first one. We're going to go to Aries. We're going to do this pretty quickly. I'm going to talk about what house is activating based off of the newsletter that I have. So I'm going to be referencing that in this process. But for Aries, the third house is getting activated. Mind is buzzing with ideas. This is about like the people that are close to you in proximity, either locals, neighbors, people. What's coming up for you, Aries? Aries, we have so we have the world card, right? But at the bottom of the deck, we also have the moon. So Aries, this full moon in Gemini is really trying to like force you to see that the world is literally your oyster. And I think Aries, for a really long time, y'all have been genuinely not knowing how to show up as self. I think there's been so many multiplicities and parts of self that you've been coming into, or you've been feeling, or you've been downloading, that you're like, man, who really am I for real? Now, granted, the part that sucks about being an Aries is that like everyone else sees you for who you are. But as an Aries, you're like, but what does that mean for me? If I see me and they see me, what's happening? Aries, just to let you know, the world that you're creating is something that they ain't never seen before and you ain't never seen before. But I promise you, once it's here, everyone's going to want to be a part of it. So I know that things might feel like it's in a bit of a stasis right now, Aries, especially because of this Mars retrograde. So y'all are feeling like your home planet started to go a little backwards and all that stuff, right? The world that you've been aiming for is genuinely on its way. And it's the world where you only have to be yourself in. And that's why the wait is going to be so worth it at the end of the day. So I hope that helps you, Aries, as you tap into that. It's for Sun, Moon, and Rising, by the way, in case anyone's new. All my readings are for Sun, Moon, and Rising. But I am going to be pointing out how it's happening in the astrology as well. Okay. Let's get to Taurus real quick. And let's keep it moving. So for Taurus, second house. So for Taurus, the second house is being activated by this full moon in Gemini. So basically, Taurus, this is money time. This is you thinking about investing in your life. But here's the problem, Taurus. Y'all are still in your dark night of the soul. I think y'all still aren't used to what abundance looks like in Pluto and Aquarius yet, but that's okay. Because Taurus, where I feel like in the past, you've been able to kind of just, it'll come to me. Pluto was in Capricorn at that time. Pluto was in Earth. So of course, yeah, all you had to do was sit there and wait. Now you're having to communicate. And did you almost beg somebody to put the right sauce on your food? What is going on? Don't they know who I am? Here's the other side of this, right? We also had the Magician card, Taurus. So despite you maybe not being in the same specific, despite you not being in the same specific manifestation or vantage point, this is also trying to get you to like really say what you have to say. So Taurus, you're just going to have to ask. It's asking, it is given, but you are going to be feeling you're undervaluing your skills. That's like to be so honest, Taurus, that's really what's happening. Taurus, you are undervaluing your skills. You are undervaluing all of that. Taurus, I know y'all be working. Taurus, I know y'all be doing your thing. When y'all set yourselves to something, y'all are impossible to get out of it. Don't let your new obsession be that feeling of lack, because that's not true. That is a part of the shift, but it's not the truth to where it's at. So Taurus, if you have been feeling financially a little in the last bit, it's going to start to change as we head into 2025 for sure. So no worries there. Taurus sun with a Gemini rising and Gemini Venus. All right, brown sugar, I got you for this next one. We hitting the Gemini one, right? All right, Gemini is your first house. This is the spotlight, dog. You know what I'm saying? Let's see what's going on with y'all. Gemini, seems as though someone's caught your eye. Gemini, seems like you want to get some cheeks, but you don't know with who you gotta speak. Let me stop. But we the auto-tune coming soon, I promise. But we have the Two of Cups. Word. This is always a melding of ideas, of everything else. But the reason why I think it has a lot to do with the stroke game is because we also have the Ace of Cups. Gemini, y'all up right now. As soon as you accept those fleeting emotions that you try to hide from, Gemini, this is a really strong emotional check-in, right? Soulful just said you've been longing for the affectionate things. If you have a Gemini something, there's going to be, you are a hot commodity. Somebody is going to be like, hey, what's up? And here's the thing that I think people don't realize is that sometimes that hey, what's up is from someone random online. Like, I cannot tell you the amount of times I've been upset and like I check like a DM or something and it's someone like answering the exact thing. Now, granted, your boy kind of like that too, though. But in general, you'd be really surprised by like what random thing pops up when you start to put that up. You know what I'm saying? I hope that even for some of y'all, if y'all don't have a lot of people in real life, I hope that these like live streams or the things that I do can kind of help bring some like, hey, we're not alone feeling too, because I totally know how that goes. You get what I'm saying? But I think when it gets to this Gemini portion, y'all about to be fun and flirty and out here. Everyone else during the holidays gonna be all like, Gemini gonna be like, hey. So I hope that that's a vibe that pulls through for y'all, Gemini. But yeah, there is a lot of like releasing on the last insecurities y'all had about speaking that ish. But yeah, dope. Okay, I'm reloaded. Cancer, this is for you. It's happening in your 12th house. 12th house. In the middle of our street. 12th house. Yeah, this feeling can't be beat. We have the Six of Wands. All right, but you want to know what else we got, Cancer? If y'all don't sit, y'all pretty goofy lunatic, because that's real by the moon. Get it? Selves down. Listen, this is the rest card. Sit yo pretty curvaceous, respectfully. Selves down. So when we get to this part, right? Especially you Cancer risings, respectfully. But when we get to this portion, right, the Four of Swords is trying to tell you to rest, but this is also telling you it's time to march on forward. It's time to get it popping. It's time to, okay. This is conflicting. Let's talk about it more. Full moon in Gemini. Rest. After full moon in Gemini, don't rest. Look at that. We just solved it all. Nah, but for this weekend though, Cancer, you don't sit yourselves at home, get you something to read and chill out. Cause like that's really what's happening. Like the 12th house doesn't want you doing too much. 12th house is like, here's the reflection. Here's all this stuff. You get what I'm saying? Jen C says she already got 2. Hey, what's up today? I wonder what's up with that. What I just say about this full moon? Come on now. Anyway, when it does come to the Cancer portion, let yourself go ahead and do your thing. Let yourself have some solitude. Dream a little dream. Don't push it because you're going to know when to just move about it. Right. And I'm learning more and more about Cancer as time is going, and I'm working on my water energy. And y'all don't even know what's happening half the time. Y'all just feeling the vibe through. And I respect that. But the vibe for this weekend is to sit your ass down. I don't have the monetization on, I'm finna swear. And that's how I feel. Word. After that, it's time to get it. Facts, Karis. You feel the vibe. So that's what's going on for Cancers during this time frame. Leo. Everybody's favorite kind of hoe. Leo. All the secrets in your hair that you hold. Leo. Let me stop. Wait, I'm cleaning. What'd you say about Cancer rising? Keep cleaning and then get yourself some sleep. That's what I said about Cancer rising. This is Leo's carpool though. Leo, you had the Ace of Wands. So Leo, here's the thing. I'm gonna put it like this. Leo, y'all mad indecisive. I love y'all. Y'all mad indecisive. Y'all are like, what am I supposed to do? I have this over here and this over here and this over here and this over here. And they all want me very much so, yeah. But no, honestly, I don't know what accent that was. Apologies if it offended anybody because I don't know where that was going. But what I can say, right, is that with this Ace of Wands portion, you get what I'm saying? The Ace of Wands is, I got the magic in me. It's literally like that, like the goofiness, the goofy of the song Magic is literally what Leo is feeling right now. So Leo, if you're feeling a little goofy, a little musical theatery, well, guess what? You're right on time because like this is also happening in the 11th house for you. So this is really going through in terms of all of your friendships, all of the like-minded people. Who do you rock with? Who do you choose to ignore? Who do you want to be there? That was a fake German accent. It wasn't the very good one, y'all. I'll get a better one later on. Pinocchio from Shrek. That I think is what I was trying to do, but I didn't go all the way with it. Thank you though. I was like, cause like I knew it was from something. It wasn't Pinocchio, it was the pigs. It was a blind pigs, I think. I gotta rewatch Shrek. But it was something from Shrek for sure. So I appreciate you. Thank you. Didn't get a notification. I did this on a whim. You got a newsletter though. So there you go. They don't give me no notifications. I am too honest about this stuff. What? Come on. Anyway, what I can't. They'll pay me in like 2 years for real. Anyway, when we get to the Ace of Wands, it's gonna be before that. But still, the Ace of Wands in this situation for real when it does come to Leo, right? Yeah, it was the pigs, y'all. Yeah, the pigs. Okay, so back to this. The Ace of Wands, back to the Leo. And again, you see I'm in a goofy mood. I was just in a silly, goofy mood. I started doing the accents, y'all. The pigs, this, that, and third. Leo, you live in that silliness. Let that out. You live in that silliness. Let that roll. Love you, Ann. You know how I am when I start talking junk. You just can't do it at the wrong time. It's all love. It's really all love. But to keep it moving forward, at least from the Leo part, like Leo, you can't keep shining down being the hot commodity. Like, come on, bro. You're literally the stars of the show. What you want? Okay. Virgo. This is in your 10th house. The house of career and public image. Okay. So, Virgo, let's see what's happening with you in your big old career space. Let's see what's happening. Mira esto. So we have Virgo, looks like y'all are fighting again. Fighting a friend, fighting a lover, fighting yourself. Looks like you fighting yourself, Virgo, I ain't gonna lie. But here's the other side to this, Virgo. Y'all got the Ace of Cups. So here's really what's going on. Virgo, I think you're like feeling a feeling. And with the feeling that you're feeling, you're like, I need to shove this feeling down so no one ever knows and can experience it. And I'm just dealing with it myself. Meanwhile, Virgo, the secret to your success is to just be honest about how you really feel and say that to people who actually care. I'm not saying that to be a jerk. I'm saying that to be specific. Because what Virgo likes to do sometimes is Virgo's like, I know if I complain this thing over to my boss, it'll work. But you'll complain to the coworker with no power. You'll go complain to a coworker with like no ability to change anything. And you'll be like, I can't believe you can't change this. Listen, Virgo. Tell someone who cares. And I'm saying this not to be extra. I'm saying this because like the person who cares about that thing specifically will know how to hold you through this situation as you figure out what it is that you truly want to do. I think Virgos have been going really back and forth throughout this year, especially because guess what? The North Node and the South Node is going to start rolling through your sign soon. So you're feeling the pressure of all that. Just know that this 10th house space is going to get you into a lot of new positions in terms of career and job, and it might not look the way that you wanted it to. But if it feels right, go with it. It don't look like how you want it to, but does it feel right? Cool, go with it. You know? I love when the goofy smiles hit. Good, because I can't make them up. Anyway, so let's get to the next part. Libra. I thought I skipped something for a second. Libra. Hourglass fine, take up all my time. Libra, pretty faces. I don't know what else to say. It's going to get raunchy after that. Anyway, Libra, let's go. So, here's what I have for you, Libra. It seems as though it takes two to tango. However, you must leave behind who you do not want to tango with. Who do you not want to tango with, Libra? Because someone else wants to tango. But who can tango with you if you want to walk away from them? Now, honestly, the whole idea behind this, Libra, on a relationship, everything, is that it's like you're meant for better partnership and relationship. And I think this is for a lot of y'all Libras, that y'all are leaving behind a very older mindset. And honestly, Libra, I'm really kind of... Libra... You want to know what this is? Libra, this is the reinvention that y'all be doing before you get into like a long-term relationship with somebody. Libras are about to get into a long-term relationship. They be like, let me cut out these things that I picked up from my exes, and I'm going to pick up what they're putting down. Like I'm going to understand more of that. That's what Libras, all y'all do that. Don't play me. I read this stuff too much. All y'all do that a little bit. Libra, this is like, hey, I am trading up, so to speak. Like, and this is you giving maybe behind your old life. Maybe you're just like, hey, I'm not moving this way no more. Hey, I'm not dating this person no more. Hey, I'm not going to think about this thing at this certain point. But Libras, y'all are up and out with this 9th house going through for y'all. So good for you for this full moon, Libra. Don't let them hold you down. Okay. This is going to be the card pull that I have for Scorpio. So for Scorpio, this is happening in your house of the 8th house. Tantalizing. Let's dig into this. So let's see what's popping up. Or the 8th house of Scorpio. You get my point. Freaking linguistics. Okay, Scorpio. We have the Knight of Wands, which ironically is coming up from the Death card. Do y'all see the similarities in these cards? Obviously, it's not perfect. Now it's a little closer. Now they're going in the same direction. But for real, the bottom of the deck is the Death card, which is your card, right? So Scorpio, in the last bit, someone said something about Scorpios earlier. I forgot what it said. But anyway, Scorpio, this Knight of Wands is trying to be like, yo, bro, just move forward. I think Scorpio, y'all have been so, almost just for lack of better terms, y'all been so butthurt about something And I think that it's been like kind of leading y'all out of like letting yourself really dive into the power in front of you. You get what I'm saying? I think like y'all have been so like about things that you like forgot why those things were happening to begin with. And so this is like you getting rid of that emotional baggage that's like trying to hold you back, because like you are supposed to really ride into the sunset stunting on everybody. But I think what the problem is that you get so scared of the intimacy. You did not miss Pisces, Aqua, or Sag, Queen B. You're right on time. But that's pretty much the way that those energies work, Scorpio. There's a lot that's going on ahead from you after this full moon, probably closer to 2025. But like Scorpio, you gotta learn how to trust again. You gotta learn how to trust again. You got reminded of who you were. That's important. But let it keep rocking from there, right? Okay, I'm reloaded. All right, so this is going to be for Sagittarius. See what's pulling through. Sag is happening in your 7th house of partnerships. So let's see what's popping up for you, Sagittarius. Sag, you got the lovers. That's what they want to be. I don't know. Anyway, so when it comes to... I can sing when I'm not thinking about it. If I'm truly not thinking about it, I can sing. I will give myself that. But we also have, I thought I told you I'm a star. See the ice, see the car. So, what does this all mean? Well, looks like you're going to be hitting it in the sack. Take it from personal experience. Let me stop. But I can say... Let me stop. I'm sorry. Okay, back to the appropriateness of my channel. Integral. Basically, the Lover's card, Sag, is that like the ball's in your court, Sag. Sometimes you just gotta type deal, you know what I'm saying? But really what's going on, Sag, is that like the Lover's card is trying to remind you of your why you enjoy the people that you enjoy. Why do you find love in spaces that most people find it hard to find love in, right? There's a new portion for you to really open up how you communicate, how you talk about things, how you like let go of all of the fears that you have. Correction, I don't think Sag has fear of commitment, which I think is a big flaw that a lot of people talk about. I don't think Sag has fear of commitment, but they do have a fear about wasting their time. So if they're going to be like fully like into something, like you better come correct. You get what I'm saying? Like they're not going to trip on that. But you know, that's all I have to say for that. Sag though, there's a lot of love coming in. There's a lot of like you being recognized coming in. And it's going to be interesting to see how you handle actually being loved around versus having that one hater in your corner. Because every Sag has at least one hater in their corner where they're like, oh, look at you. So cute. Keep hating over there. It makes me better. For real. So, so I hope that resonates to some Sag that's here. Appreciate y'all for showing up, you know. Appreciate the love. So that's going to be the one for Sag, you know what I'm saying? Good vibe. All right, so for Capricorn, so for my Capri suns, moons, and risings, let's see what's popping up. I had a Capricorn sing me happy birthday on my birthday. I'm him. I don't want to hear nobody tell me nothing, bro. Every once in a while, I'll be like, man, I know I'm that guy, but am I really that guy? And I had a Capricorn, a lovely Capricorn lady sing me happy birthday in my DMs. I was like, I've made it in life. You got a Capricorn that sing. We out here. Speaking of, card just dropped. A shout out to you. All right, Capricorn. This is actually a hilarious card to pop out for you because this is all about give and take. The difference between love and hate. You best believe I'm the biggest hater. Hate the way that they walk, the way that they talk, and you hate the way that they dress, and they have to get about your life. So Capricorn, on this episode of, hey, you mooching ab, get the out my space. You out here trying to eat all my cereal. Go home. Capricorn, you're going to have to kick some people out of paradise, bro. I ain't going to lie, Capricorn, you're going to have to kick some people out of paradise, bro. There are some people who have not been doing as well for you as you have been doing for them. And because of this, they have to bite the dust. On the other side, if you've been so in your own BS, this might be you having to like service something. This might be you having to like put in a little help, do a little shine. You know what I'm saying? But in general, I feel like this is a big like give and take kind of transit, right? Just to let y'all all know too, I'm still doing the live streams at the end. I know I have about 3 or 4 so far. If you want to tap in, lock in right now, like just click the thing, lock into it, tap in. I'm going to ideally do all of them while I'm live because that's just the best way for me to get them done. And I know that you'll get them on a timely manner. Just be honest. That's been my one Achilles heel that I've been running into in the last few months that I'm like, bro, I don't have the time that I used to because I also work a full-time job. Okay, I just dropped stuff. This was for Aquarius. Aquariums. All right, Aquarius. We have the Queen of Cups for you. We also have the 9 of tennis balls. We have the 9 of pentacles, right? Aquarius, I think y'all are like low-key. Oh, it's in your 5th house too. I'm about to say, I think Aquarius, y'all low-key falling in love. Falling in love. And you ain't even smashed yet. But you're falling in love for somebody's potential because they're pretty or they're at least interesting or they have something that gives you that. So, but genuinely though, when it does get to Aquarius, like there is like this newfound rendition of either love or love for self. Like, let's just be honest, right? Because the Queen of Cups is like that gal, right? But the Queen of Cups for real is like really getting into this position of knowing where their heart's at. The power. Oh, my thing died. That's crazy. Be right back, guys. My whole camera said F you. Okay, I should be back. My camera overheated for the first time, so that was cool. Anyway, hopefully y'all can hear me, see me, all that good stuff. But yeah, camera overheated. I had no warning on it because I can't see it from here. But that's okay. So let's get through these last bits. I talked about Aquarius. Suspense. Apologies. I always pop back. But hey, okay. Yes, spend thousands of dollars, have things overheat sometimes. It's fine. Okay, so let's get this last part for Aquarius. Aquarius, I was saying that y'all were about to fall in love and stuff. This is really where the cups comes in. This is really where there's a lot of like family feelings. I think a lot of y'all are about to get in a relationship, I'll be honest. Y'all about to get into an interesting relationship dichotomy. And I do want to keep going just because I don't want this, right as he said, power shut off. Ain't that crazy? Anyway, all right, let's get to Pisces so I don't miss out on y'all. I know they were like, wow, that's crazy. Don't worry. I got y'all, Pisces. All right, so for Pisces, for Pisces. Can't believe they just like shut off like that. That's crazy. Okay. I knew this would happen though. That's why I didn't want to go live for a bit. That's okay. All right. So, oh my God, I just dropped the entire deck. That's crazy. Wow, that's different. Just the whole thing. Just, it is what it is. So, let me move this back. We love when things fall. We ruin everything. Actually, what's up, y'all? All right, cool. So, Pisces. Let's see what we got right here. So, Pisces, similarly to Cancer, we have the Queen of Pentacles, right? But we have the Rest card again. Y'all gonna have to sit down and get that rest, Pisces. What's happening with the Queen of Pentacles is that the Queen of Pentacles really does know her worth. That's my favorite part about the Queen of Pentacles in general, is that you cannot tell the Queen of Pentacles who she is. You cannot take her out of her power for no reason. The Queen of Pentacles says, my staying power is the fact that I'm here. Say what's up. You hear what I'm saying? And I think what's really powerful about this in between, I'm gonna pull one more for Pisces. Oh, we got the Queen of Pentacles again. So yeah, y'all are getting out of a slump where I think that love had a certain amount of distortion, like you had a devil card for a hot minute, but I think that you're like actually learning the secrets of what was going on during those shadow times that you've been just experiencing, and now that's actually leading you to be able to like step into your power in a very different light. So that's really cool in terms of this. Now, this is also happening in your 4th house. So keep in mind this, a lot of this is going to be happening or stemming from the vibe of family and love and all that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I hope that this is able to suggest things. You're not going live for a minute after this. I ain't want to go live today to keep it a stack. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I gotta show up for y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like my biggest, here's really my case, right? And I'm gonna yap for a second, then I'm gonna get to the readings. Of course I hate when things don't work the way they're supposed to. Yeah, that's trash. But at the same time, I just want to make sure y'all get the info. So y'all get the info, and I'm happy. You know what I'm saying? Will I be live again after this? Let's find out. I just knew something was gonna happen. That's okay. Between Aqua, Sun, Scorpio, Moon, and Cancer rising, I'm about to disappear like the live. I don't blame you, yo. This is part of course. You feel what I'm saying? Like, there's a reason why most streamers, have like 3 different cameramen. Like, they all have mad different cameramen doing whatever works, you know what I'm saying? But I appreciate y'all popping up and still showing love regardless. I really can't stand the social media to live stream factor sometimes. But this is how we meet. This is how we get to tap in. This is how we get to click in. So I can't disrespect the means of doing so. But it is still the very end of retrograde for Mercury and for Mars as well. So can only do so much. Anyway, now that I've done the yapping, this is the last call for anything else. Does anyone have any last second questions before I start to dive into the people who ended up getting the mini readings? Make sure that you leave a like on this if you haven't. Leave some comments if you haven't. I'm clicking the wrong stuff again. That's just part of course. Memories of the live where the power went out. Something always happens, bro. Since I started this. So it's been literally 6 years. Now, granted, back in the day, this is my thing. I don't say it as much, but this was something that I noticed. When I used to watch all my favorite astrologers and tarot readers and people who would do this kind of work, a lot of their stuff would get messed up too. And it used to be like sworn off where they're like, oh, it's an interference happening because I'm spitting that truth. And so things just start to act haywire because I'm being so true. And I was always kind of like at first I was like, that's BS. So I started watching it happen and I was like, that's true. Then I started doing this and it's been happening to me for like years. And it sucks too when I'm doing something for like another company or something. And they're like, oh, you want to do something? I'm like, cool, let's break this down. And as soon as we start breaking down, it's like, you know what I'm saying? Brown Sugar did not try to tell me to not go live. That's not what they did. It's not what they did. I'm still here. I'm still your boy. Your boy just be experiencing life. Your boy be dealing with birthday blues like other people do, you know what I'm saying? But we out here, you know what I'm saying? Birthday was a few days ago. Feeling good. Popping. All right. So this, let me see. I think I'm good. I think I've done everything else. Anyone have any last questions? There we go. Like the relatable stories from your experiences. Thank you. I'll be experiencing. So I'm glad that gets the right feedback. I never try to hop on here to just talk about myself and flex. If I did, the story or the live stream would be titled, "Hey guys, I'm just flexing on my life. LOL, smiley face." It would be a picture of me shirtless standing like this and say like Giga Chad at the top. That's what I'm starting. Outside of that, I really do appreciate y'all being able to like hear my stories and like not take it to heart or be weird about it and just be like, oh yeah, that's just like a part of like real life that he's explaining. I do appreciate that dearly. Okay, I feel like I'm yapping, and the people who are waiting for readings are waiting for their readings. Again, still figuring out the class to live to reading scenario as I do, but that's okay. That's part of it. Anyone who says that they haven't figured it out either has someone else doing it or they're lying. So just so I'll let you know. So I'll be like, wow, these astrology people or these other people, they seem to have it all together. Then I realized there's like 10 people on their team, and I'm like, oh, that would do it. So this is going to be for B. All right, the first one right here, this is going to be for B. Let the universal algorithm tell me what I need to know. Is it really an algorithm? Is it true? It is. It is. To be honest, astrology is studying the algorithm, but no one knows that it's astrology, so that's always fun. Anyway, B, this is for you. Let's see what we got. Hierophant. Ooh. Area. All right, B, I'm gonna be honest with you. Heading into this 2025, there's lots of work to be done. How long does the sale on the readings last? I'm gonna be so transparent about this, right? Just for the sales on the readings. 150 is the lowest price I'm ever going for the rest of my life, like for the rest forever. Like I've been doing this too long, and I know people that suck that get paid $400 for less time, give you less, don't give you a recording, and suck. And the difference between them and myself has a lot to do with presentation that they get born with. So for me in general, 150 has always been my homie price. That's what I do for like my friends. So when I offered a homie price on my website, is like, you should take that then, because I am sporadic. Like I'm be honest with you, you know what I'm saying? I might screw around and hit a mood and be like, you want to know what? I deserve it all. $750. No, I'm joking. But like in general though, I know how much my readings are actually worth, but I do know that I work with everybody. You get what I'm saying? So take it as you will. The 150 is going to be there for at least probably like a week. That's like my birthday sale. That's my like, here y'all go, pull up for this 2025. You know what I'm saying? Now, Brown Sugar, I know that you want me to be live. I was playing. You're good. I appreciate y'all. I still got you. So here's where we go. Bottom of it, lots of work to be done. Let's get into this for real. The Hierophant, right? The Hierophant is one of those situations at hand to where in this past position, you've known what to do. And as a matter of fact, B, I'm going to be honest with you. It looks like you know everything to get done. We have the Fool card right now. You know that you're on this new path. You know what I'm saying? I know that I think you hit me up earlier. I just didn't get to see it yet. But you're like, oh, I haven't been on recently, this, that, and there. You've been on your Fool card energy. You've been learning a bunch of new stuff, right? Now, here's the other portion to this. The Chariot, though, this is your future card for after this full moon being up. And so, like, there's a lot of work to be done. You might be stressed out, but all the work is going to actually have its payoff. And that's the difference between the work you were doing before earlier this year and the work that you're doing at the latter part of this year. I think that when I told you about that chill period that you're supposed to take, I think you really listened to me. I think you really listen to me. And with that being said, I think that this is the other side of that, to where it's like when you listen through, have that time and tap in, like that's where things start to really change. So for B specifically, that real change is going on for you. It has a lot to do with you like just stepping up in that power. You get what I'm saying? Keep that over there. Don't be telling me what to do. This is my channel. I'll be keeping it everywhere. Nah, but for real, that is a huge change. B, that's not for you, QB. My bad. That's for B. So if QB, if you are asking for this is not your reading specifically. This is for B, who also goes by B. So I hope that's not confusing either. But yeah, that's going to be the one for B. Fia, not QB. If that's the case, I apologize. Like I said, it's the reason why I haven't been live. Like I know I'm not there. I genuinely just know. And that's why I'm like, let me give some video stuff, you know. All right, so this Mercury retrograde in Sag has done more work on me than it's done on a handful of other people, that I can say. All right, what else do we have? We're gonna go with Joanna. Okay, this is gonna be for Joanna, right? Feeling heavy this season, just here to see what spirit wants to speak. Let's get it. So this is going to be for Joanna. Let's see what's pulling up. Happy almost birthday to Joanna, by the way. Everybody drop down the love, you know what I'm saying? Right, let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's see what's popping through. Ooh, okay. So we have at the bottom, heavy season for sure, but the Empress card has been going on, right? The Empress card has been loading through for you. Okay, so here's where we get into the story, right? As a matter of fact, you have a really interesting story here. Why is that? Because your Cap rising is what's being called into question. In case you were wondering, why do I say that? We have the Knight of Pentacles, the King of Pentacles, and the Page of Pentacles. All of these masculine cards, which is about doing this stuff, being active at the end of the day. And all of the cards having to do with material worth, material value, the money that might be ensuing, right? Now, this season, heavy. We're not going to put it past you. But here's what's happening, though. You're slowly gathering the means to be able to do the thing that you set out to do. You're then going to be sitting in the power of what it is that you have to do. And then with this Page of Pentacles, you're going to be experiencing what it's like to finally see that thing go into motion. So this is almost like, I see this similarly to like if you were pitching something to like a Netflix or something, right? And I'm giving you this example because if you're pitching something to Netflix, it has to go through the first preliminaries. Then they have to see what the pilot looks like, to see what it's kind of like. And then after that pilot, they actually let you start to shoot the show. And this whole entire process is like nothing that's going to occur is going to be random. Everything's going to be planned out the way that you anticipate, but you do have to lean on that Cap rising a little bit. Like, yes, it's been stressful, but that's part of the point to get you further than the next thing. You get what I'm saying? So that's fire. All right, Tabitha. This one's for you. All right, Tab. Let's see what we got. Let's see what's pulling through. Let's see what's happening. Let's see what's up. Boom, boom, boom. Tabitha, I'll be honest with you. This Mars retrograde, this Mercury retrograde, the people are bickering. The people are bickering. Everyone's kind of like being a bit of a jerk. I'm going to be honest with you. I think even in the holiday season, people have been real finicky about things, right? So here's where I'm going to give you this example. Right now, or in the past bit, right? You've been dealing with a lot of having to like heave, like I almost want to say this is like Thanksgiving for you. Like in the last bit, you had to like, oh, my camera's dying again. 1 second, I'm about to do this. Okay, everyone can still hear me. I'm gonna stick over here for a second and I'm gonna keep talking. But yes, the camera had to go. briefly. Yes, that sucks. But Tab, we're still on here reading, and I have not stopped yet. So the main thing that I want to point, right? For real, they're being buggy as all. I know, bro. I know. I'm so aware. It's unfortunate. I'm very aware though. It's gonna do it again at some point, I'm sure. But let's just keep it moving. So Tabitha, right? So here's the thing that happens. You've been dealing with a lot of like stress and you having to pick up the pace with a lot. And people have been still benefiting from it, Tab. So I think it's like you've been doing a great job with that. But I almost want to say like you want people to like give back in. And I think part of what's going on with you, especially during this holiday season, is that like if you're the only person, let's say like doing the cooking, the cleaning, the whole nine, if you're the only person doing all this part, you're going to want to really like gear it so other people start to like step up into what they're doing as well, right? You're going to gear it so where people are going to start to actually like tap into like what's happening with them. And I think people are going to start opening up to you in an emotional way that you don't expect, which is going to give you a lot of understanding as to like why things have been a certain way. But I think there is a lot of things to break in a good way that'll actually like lead to better understanding in the future. So I hope that that helps out, Tab. I know that was a little bit more like pointed, but I hope that that gives you the context you've been looking for. All right. So Maisha, what's the message for love in your heart? Let's find out. Message for love. Love, send up for words. I'll still put you first. First of all right, you have the Page of Cups. The Page of Cups is always trying to shoot their shot. Page of Cups sees a pretty lady. He's like, hello, I love your hair. Like Page of Cups is on it. So in terms of love, getting the Page of Cups is typically one of those cards that starts to show like, oh, there's something on the market here. Now, since I'm pulling specifically for love, this is what's going to be pulling up, right? Now, I want to say this. I think, Maisha, I think you have suitors. It's not a suitor, it is suitors, right? But here's what I want to point out. Let's say that there's suitors. I'm giving you this as an example. There's two suitors. Let's give that as an example. There's one who's a little bit more emotionally mature, and there's one of them that talk that good. You get what I'm saying? I'm gonna keep it real with you. When I got the Page of Cups, that was the one that talks good. They seem pretty secure, stable, consistent. Then I got, for the Page of Swords, I got these two cards together. And the Page of Swords looked like he on some sneaky player stuff. Like it seemed like he might be the choice that your eyes want. Maybe he's the bad boy choice, so to speak. But he's not the good choice for your heart and what you're looking for in terms of stability, especially as a Moon and Taurus. However, the person who has been more on the like emotive end and the let me take you out to eat type of end, they are going to actually do all the things. So I'll put it like this. Maisha, there's a situation that you're in where somebody's trying to promise you all those things and not give them to you. And there's someone who's not saying all those things to you who's going to give you all the things the other person's promising. So don't put all your eggs in one basket because you have two baskets, because there's two people who are looking to take you over to Funky Town. So with that being said, keep that in mind. The person that has more of that emotional maturity who may seem boring is probably going to be the better option than the person who yaps your ear off. But he yaps everybody ear off. You get what I'm saying? I hope that gives you some context to like know who to lean into more. The one that talks a little too much, maybe they're air sign, maybe not them. I don't know if they're gonna fit your vibe you're aiming for. That's my thoughts out to you for that. That should be popping up at least towards the end of this retrograde and into next year. So yeah, good to know. Okay, and now I think this is the last one. Is there someone that came through last second? I don't think so. So this is the last one for this evening. I'm gonna still keep these open for the next 2 days, and I will send them for anybody who comes up after. But, you know, thank you. Appreciate the yappies and the hard work I put in my craft. Y'all have no idea, but I appreciate you. So let's get into this. Creativity is inspiring. I do be doing that. Career advice. Let's get it. Traditional route for you. Going back to school, finishing your degree, bringing your birthright abundance, Hey, you work with the neuro spices. Thank you for your work. I appreciate it. All right, let's get it. Let's see what's going on. As a neuro spicy person myself, I appreciate the work that you do. So the King of Swords. All right, cool. So you had the King of Swords, Jennifer. Oh, I don't even know if I said it was you, Jennifer. Jennifer, you had the King of Swords to start off this at the theme of this, right? So ironically, I think that based off what I just pulled, I have the Wheel of Fortune, but it ends off with the Tower. And I don't think this is a bad pull, but I do think to a certain degree that like going the traditional route may quote unquote burn you more than it think it will. And now granted, there's this in-between time frame where you're still trying to decide, and that's part of the process. But I feel like the Wheel of Fortune and the King of Swords is opening up has a lot more to do with like more of what you're already doing versus you trying to like reach out to go back into the same system. I think that there's something that you don't even see or know about yet that's going to pull up and really bring you into a deeper part of love for all this. My camera died again. But it's going to bring you into a deeper part of love with all of this, right? But what's really coming up for me as I see this and I'm talking about this, just going to pull this up right now. But as I'm seeing and talking about this, what's really coming up for me has a lot to do with this new ability or this new system, so to speak, right? Of you starting to delve in a bit deeper than what you initially anticipated. And I think it's an emotional thing. So I think you might want to go back to school because, like, yes, that's a traditional route. Or yes, maybe that's the next step for you to go. But I think there's like a special something else that's going to pop up that you don't know of yet. And that's the reason why it's not happening the way that you anticipate. There's an awakening that I feel like is really coming up. And then you're going to take that awakening and move it forward in a very different way than what's anticipated of you. So don't be in fear because of this. Don't like step out of your own power because of this. This has a lot to do with you like really accepting the moment. So I don't know if the traditional part is going to be right, but everything else along that path is going to definitely do you your justice. So it's a beautiful thing. Outside of that, thank you all, beautiful, lovely people, for coming through and joining me. Shout out to whoever is still here for real. Thank you for dealing with my I knew this was going to happen random technology glitches. My camera died about 4 times and it's been plugged in. It's overheated actually. Because it's like, do you want the highest quality? That's cool. You want your camera to work? Probably not. That's just how that goes, I guess. But that's okay. Regardless, appreciate each and every one of you again for being here, spending the time with me. Initially, this was supposed to be a video, but I don't have the creative bandwidth, so I'm just finna yap with y'all. Yeah, no, I'm so glad I was able to confirm, bring you a little bit more information. Thank y'all for coming through and trusting me with your time and energy. I think I'm gonna keep the readings at 25. I think that's a good space. I think I'm around 30 for a little bit. I just want to make sure that there's still something that's in reach for everybody. So this is a really good compromise, I feel like, to be able to get people some direct info. You know what I'm saying? And also I talked about all the signs and stuff. Appreciate y'all. I'm in yap territory. I was not prepared to go live today as a human, but for you, the people, I've dedicated myself to getting y'all the info. So that's what I am finna do. So appreciate each and every one of y'all. Make sure y'all pull through while I still have the reading sale going on. There's probably not going to last past Christmas. I initially had a lot of different goals to like, oh, I'm going to start the website. I'm going to do all this stuff in December. And that just has not been on my soul in the way that I thought it would be. So I'm just trying to honor that, respect it as it comes through, respect it as it happens. You know what I'm saying? So again, appreciate y'all for being here, spending the time, showing love. And I'll be talking to you all soon before my camera inevitably dies one more time. So appreciate you. Much love. And I'll be talking to you all soon. Till then, peace out.